Hey guys, Radical here. Today I'm going to be doing something a little differently. I'm going to be playing a classic battle, and the reason I'm going to be doing this is because yesterday I played an opponent on a siege battle who was pretty new with the game, and he seemed pretty frustrated. I ended up beating him, and I went in to do another siege battle, and he was the same guy, just because there wasn't a lot of people, I guess, going for random match-made siege battles. So I ended up facing him again, and he must have been pretty disappointed with that. He was very upset with, I guess he lost a lot of battles that day, and he explained to me that he thought that the issue was that he didn't have the right troops. He didn't have the necessary veterans to win. So I offered to play him in Classic to show him just about, how Shogun 2 is really about strategy. All Total War games are pretty much about strategy. And, the game experience when you play single player is going to be a lot different from multiplayer. So I told him I'd do a highlight video just to show him, get him on the right track with just what kind of tactics he can use, what kind of things he might have done, what his opportunities were, what he did good with. So to start, it's going to be Shimazu versus Date. I am going to be the attacker. My army consists of 3 bow warrior monks. One has 2 chevrons, a bow samurai, 2 naginata samurai, 3 katana samurai. I have 2 hidden in the forest over there, and Shimazu katana hero with 2 chevrons, and my general, just a standard general. My opponent is going to be bringing Matchlock Ashigaru, I believe 2 bow warrior monks, maybe just 1. Some bow Ashigaru, I think it's 2. Some Yari Ashigaru, and of course his general. Just for starters, he also brought these, and the problem is with bringing any kind of siege equipment to a regular battle, let alone a defense of a siege, is that they cost a lot of money. When you're defending, you have far less. My recommendation would be to never bring siege equipment to a defense. He has some line of sight issues here. I believe it's because his crew doesn't want to be firing into his general. That's my main theory, but only one of his cannons ends up firing. It's this one. You can see this is the only one that really has line of sight. So this is a very expensive unit that doesn't even get put to use. My recommendation would be to ditch it. He's pretty new. I think he doesn't realize that I can cross the shallow water, so he's going to position his troops here. That would be great. That's a good tactic. Nothing wrong with that. Maybe if he had put his bow warrior monks up front, just because their arc is much further, would have helped him a little better. But he's soon going to realize this. He's going to realize I'm not heading towards that, and he's going to switch over to here. I moved my katana samurai out just to kind of disorganize him, get him facing some of his archers over here, so I can have a skirmishing advantage. I do apologize. I do go pretty rough on him. I mean, I didn't really want to baby him, even though I was giving him tips, because I wanted to be able to do the replay to show him some of the things he could have done differently. So I am kind of deceptive and I am kind of brutal, but I feel like he's going to improve. So he's going to open up with his matchlocks here. I did explain to him, I believe I told him about how matchlocks shouldn't be put on the front line, just because their arc is not as far as the archers are. I'm going to take advantage of that though. He's going to move his bow warrior monks to this section of the castle, which is a good move. Nothing wrong with that. So far he hasn't really made too much mistakes. Recommendation for his army, I would have brought more swords. Just because in a siege, the archers that you bring as a defender aren't necessarily going to be used for the same thing that the archers I'm bringing for. My archers are designed to kill your troops. Your archers are designed to be killed by my troops. Your job is to waste all my ammunition. So here's one thing I did. I don't think he realized that I could do this. I caught this section on the wall on fire. My recommendation for when this happens is get out of there, because I don't think it's very realistic. I'm not sure if there's gunpowder in the walls, but once that thing hits 100, it is devastating. This is gonna just, like, yeah, I mean, I don't know, I'm not sure why that is in the game as a mechanic. I'm not sure if that would happen. maybe it's a simulation of what would happen if your guys caught on fire, but I'm not sure. Point is, you see a section of the wall, get caught on fire, get out of there. It was not, he didn't do anything wrong getting his bow warrior monk up there. He definitely was the right thing to do, but once it caught on fire, he definitely should have pulled out. So now I'm just going to lay into his matchlocks. I believe they're routing. Another thing too is that the second tier of a castle, you're not going to have the same morale bonus as the first. Your men will rout, so they need to be supported by the general's arc, maybe from the top here. And you really got to make sure that your Ashigaru units aren't getting just pummeled. If need be, leave them at the top, because another thing to consider is that this does offer you a distance. You know, you can't be attacked through this distance, so you do have a skirmishing advantage being at the top of the castle as well. So I'm going to move up, try to stay away from his archery tower. I definitely think I made the right choice by blowing up this section of the wall rather than catching the tower on fire, although I could have done that. So I'm going to position all my troops to get ready for an attack. We're not going to attack quite yet, we're going to do some more skirmishing. I want to see what my opponent does. You can just tell from this army, even if I wasn't skirmishing, it would be kind of tough for him to win, just because it's mostly bows. And it makes sense bringing a lot of bows to a castle siege, just because you'll be able to kill them before they show up. But once they do show up, and you got to keep in mind, Naginata samurai have great armor and pretty good morale. So in a situation like this, even though I didn't have any, retainers to play because it's classic, you're gonna see that his bows just aren't able to kill my samurai before they close in on them. That, and they're coming from multiple directions. So I believe those guys go back into the castle. He's going to bring his bow Ashigaru up. I'm going to take advantage of this cluster right here. Another suggestion, opening shots, they're very important. More so for gunpowder units than bows, but they're still pretty important for bows. But these guys were at 100, now they're at 89. If you engage in a skirmish with me, I'm going to be at an advantage just because you don't have as many troops anymore. Great job here, though. Sorry, someone just called me. Great job here, though. Bow Ashigaru is a great use for them, getting wasted. And it's going to sound pretty funny, but you got to figure my bow warrior monks are wasting precious arrows that I do not have a unlimited supply of on peasants, which is the intended purpose of these. My recommendation would be, if you don't think you're going to be able to outbow me, probably just bring a few of these guys so I have to waste a ton of them. Leave them on the top of the castle if it's a multi-tier, just so, or pull them out before they get too wrecked, just so you can waste as much ammunition as possible, or get as much ammunition wasted, I guess. He's going to bring his matchlocks up here. It made sense for where I was standing. It made sense that he'd be able to get the shots, but he has to also figure that even if he had gotten a few shots, I still would have been able to pull back and just play into him. Good thought, but in the future, you got to consider the fact of what's going to happen after you try what you're going to do. So you could have gotten some sneak attack pot shots on my guys, but in the long run you're still going to be put at a disadvantage just because I can outrange you significantly. And he also has to figure that these guys are actually a huge threat to me. If he had some matchlocks up here while I charged my samurai in, it would have been devastating. Maybe it wouldn't have killed them, but for peasants, it would have done a lot of damage. And once again, with the morale bonus, these troops are going to rout because they're not on the top of the castle. He's getting some nice shots on my bow samurai. Unfortunately, even with the bow samurai getting pummeled, I'm still going to have a lot of bow warrior monks to lay into him. But like I said, the purpose of archers isn't necessarily to kill my archers, it's just to waste the arrows. I think he does a pretty good job of that. Maybe he didn't realize he was, but he is doing a pretty good job. And once again, I'm not trying to be mean to him, I'm trying to show him some ropes. It takes a long time to learn how to play this game competitively. I know that when I started I was pretty frustrated with the amount of times I lost, but slowly and slowly I took each battle, I took I looked at what the replay had to offer. I saw, you know, the mistakes I made, what they did good. I tried to copy and mimic them. Sometimes to maybe not to my advantage. Sometimes I took their advice wrong, but in the long run, over time, I was able to take enough of the information, put it together, and figure out some sort of processes that worked pretty decent. See, this is a good situation. His troops aren't going to rout, even though he has a small amount left, and this is good. This is great, because they're so spread out now from so many of them dying that it's going to be hard for me to shoot them, and I'm going to just totally be wasting my ammo every volley at this point. But I'm going to switch my target because I know this. I did actually get like 4 or 5 volleys on these like 5 guys though, so good job there. Here's another suggestion. Just don't leave your troops clumped together, because this is kind of like a 2 for the price of 1 situation. I'm shooting his general, but if I miss, I'm going to shoot his bow Ashigaru. And that's going to just put him at a disadvantage, because this is negating the fact that he wasted arrows here. He's allowing me to make up for that here. He's allowing me to kill 2 different kinds of troops in 1 volley, and any kind of situation where his 5 guys absorbing arrows here put him at an advantage, it's taken away from that. But he's going to move his troops up. Great job here too. It's just showing you that if he had brought more bow Ashigaru, it would have taken a lot to skirmish against them. Not sure why they're not standing. There they go. I'm going to keep firing at them because they are a threat. I mean, they're weak, but they can still do some damage to my troops. And he just has tons. If he had brought maybe for every of his, he had 2 bow warrior monks. Maybe if he brought 4 bow Ashigaru, or rather maybe if he had kept the amount of bow Ashigaru he had and replaced the bow warrior monks with katana samurai, I think he would have been in a much better position than he is right now. You really do, you need some kind of, you know, decent melee component when you're fighting a siege. Once again with the fight to the death. Just not too many troops here, but they're knocking around. I know it's tough because the besieger gets much more money than you, but you have to think about what I'm going to bring, and you have to think of an appropriate counter. Now he played me, this will be my 3rd match with him. Each time you play the same opponent, you have to think about what they did right, what you're going to do to counter it, and what they're going to do because they think that you know what kind of army they're going to bring next. So you don't want to necessarily like bring a complete counter to it, but you want to adapt your style. You definitely don't want to bring the same army. And he, for the most part, for the last 3 battles, he was bringing a pretty strong bow component. But just a suggestion, you do need some kind of melee component in the defense, especially once I'm on the walls, because this distance is going to be closed incredibly quick. And katana samurai, they don't rout very easy, especially not just to bow fire alone. He's going to send his European cannons in. I mean, at this point, it's not that bad of a tactic. It's going to hold them there, and the European cannons themselves were not very effective to begin with. They got 5 kills, I believe that was all from the cannons. They haven't killed anyone yet. Oh, there they did. The best European cannon swordsman in the world, I guess. Being able to kill a person training his entire life to fight and kill. But yeah, they're just, maybe because they have such low morale and they wouldn't have been very effective in melee, he could have used them to just hold troops in the top tier where they wouldn't have routed, because 9 people have just gone to waste, I guess. He's going to charge his general, and this is a mistake that he really shouldn't have made. If he charged his general and did not get him the same run, maybe he wasn't sure what kind of weapon a Nagina was, but it's just going to be devastating to his general. I made sure to mention this as soon as he did it. I told him never charge into Yari or Naginata. I know that's kind of simple, but I'm just putting it out there. This kind of situation is not good. I mean, as soon as you get to the top tier, it's not going to matter that his general's gone. You know, with the morale bonus, he's going to stay in the fight, but he's not. At this point, there's no feasible way of him winning. I'm going to bring my Shimazu Katana Samurai up to go against these bows. my suggestion here was you should probably have had these guys maybe in this formation here. Pull the bows away and put your Yaryash girl on this line. Just so you can maximize the amount of shots you're able to get before the enemy closes on them, and you're going to be able to hold them in while they're coming in piecemeal, one at a time. It's not going to give you, it's not going to win the fight, but it's going to give you a better advantage than waiting for them to kill your bows and then charging your troops in. And now I just have troops coming from all sides. I believe this is when my heroes are going to come in. I'm not sure where they are. Yep, they didn't really go to good use in this battle. The gate's down, you dummies. Get in there. Oh well. What are you gonna do? So this is the last stage of the battle. As you can see, there's a lot that could be done. There's a lot that he did right. You know, honestly, for someone who seems pretty new, I guess from the conversation I had, he hasn't had this game very long. He didn't do, you know, bad. I mean, I had my girlfriend trying to play a battle the other day, and she didn't even understand how to control the camera. So once you get the basics down, it's just a matter of trial and error. And not saying anything bad about him. He obviously was new, and I'm sure he'll do better in the future, especially if he checks out the massive amount of commentaries that are on online. A lot of them oriented more towards new players and how to play competitively. But you know, I figured I'd do this highlight for him. Just seemed like he was pretty frustrated. I want to help him out. Anyone out there that can get some use out of this too, maybe. So that was the classic battle commentary. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'm gonna wait until the last troop dies this time before I say see you guys later. There we go. Alright. Cheering in the air. Capture the castle. Good game to my opponent. See you guys later.